So there are 5 London pathology practice educators. We have Janky, who covers London 1, who's unable to make it today. Then myself, I'm Cristina, and I cover London Network 2. And then we have...
I'm Mehwish, I'm covering London 3. Hi, I'm Andrea, I'm from London 4.
Hello, I'm Billy, covering London 5.
So a little bit of background on us. So this is completely new to pathology, and it happened in response to COVID-19, whereby £4 million was allocated by NHS E&I. So there are 21 practice educators in total, and they're covering all the 29 networks. And we're all working together with our apprenticeship leagues. And we're here to support training across the network and foster a culture of innovation and excellent learning. Here you can see a picture of all of us, and we all started at different dates. So some of us started in March 21, myself, for example, in September 21, and we've got the newest one in April 22. And we all connected digitally via Zoom, via Teams, in various meetings such as the National PE meetings, regional meetings, we had a thinking trio, and the PEP course, and this was a course to develop us and give us the tools to really do this role. And it was where we established a robust long-term collaborative pathology network across England, where we shared information, resources, skills, and we were also able to really establish a strong support hub. And we were able to understand the needs of pathology. We also built relationships with the managers of our networks, the training leads, and we were here listening to them, to their concerns that they raised, and to be able to discuss ideas and solutions to address the challenges in pathology. We would then have meetings with professional bodies, we would update and try and get their support. So our networking allowed us to see what was missing in the pathology network. As you can see here, we've got time to train, funding, support for training, training positions, a pathway for career development, consistency across the whole of England, evidence of workforce challenges, the recognition of healthcare scientists, space to try new ideas, pathology-focused workforce planning. Now I'll give it over to Mehwish, who will say what we've done.
Thank you. So we've been working with the last few months, and there's skills gap analysis that we've undertaken for our networks, and that's allowing us to look at any gaps within training as well as the staffing numbers at different bandings. We also sent out a survey for training leads last year, which allowed us to ask direct questions around any challenges that the training leads are experiencing across different regions. And the results of the survey really helped us come together with some solutions to address some of those challenges, which I'll cover in the next few slides. And as Cristina mentioned, we also worked with other stakeholders and held several network workshops. So this has really helped us identify any workforce barriers and challenges and pick on any common themes that we can all come together and have greater success at addressing. And some of these include the limited scientist pool. There is a lack of understanding with the students who go for degrees and don't always go for the accredited degrees. So when they come out of universities, they need to do some top-up modules, which kind of causes a delay in getting the staff ready to work out-of-hour shifts. There's also the shift pattern working requirements for which staff need to achieve certain levels of competencies, but due to the constraints within the departments to provide training, that also leads to delays. And then also we've identified that the job descriptions across different regions are not standardized, and it's something we're working really closely on standardizing. In terms of training, we've identified gaps for registration portfolio training. This is really important in enabling staff to be able to practice as HCPC registered biomedical scientists. And due to the operational pressures, the inability of the departments to allocate protected training time has really led to very few registration portfolios being submitted throughout a year. It's also impacting on the specialist portfolio training that's being provided by the departments. And I will cover in the next slide the initiative that the London Pathology Practice educators have come together and come up with to really help address the specialist portfolio and registration portfolio training challenges. So the London Pathology Practice educators have set up the online webinars where we're delivering fortnightly webinars that are aligned to the specialist portfolio modules. And that's really helped us share any training resources between each other and expertise, and that's helped us ease the pressures on individual departments. The training survey that was sent out last year has identified that more than 50% of the laboratories within the country are not able to support specialist portfolio training. So we thought the best way to address that would be through collaborative working. And this is the first time that the NHS and private laboratories have come together to really address these training challenges. So this is a 12-month program where we're trying to not only provide training through live webinars, but we're also uploading webinar videos for staff who are out of hours and are not always able to access webinars that are being undertaken once or twice per week. And we also created online questionnaire, Q&A form or assessment, which staff can use as evidence to address the knowledge components of the specialist portfolio. We've now almost completed the first quarter, and we have been evaluating through sending out feedback forms to training leads as well as staff who are attending these webinars. And the response has been really positive, and there's a lot of demand for these in other regions and for other disciplines. And as a result of that, we're all coming together and working with the other regional practice educators to now roll this out to other disciplines, portfolios, as well as give access to staff members who are working on registration and specialist portfolios across the regions nationally. We have a WhatsApp group through which we keep in touch and share good ideas and practice, and if anyone has any questions, we'll post it on there. But we also have Future NHS platform where we have set up a workspace, and we reuse this space to start any discussions between each other on any topics that we need some help with or need to just bounce ideas off each other for. And we also have this platform to put on any training resources. Our specialist portfolio webinars get uploaded on here, and we get staff access to these, and we also keep an audit trail of how many staff members are benefiting from this project. And we also have any other gap analysis documents or any other documents that we can share between each other to help each other out. Information related to apprenticeships, because some of the networks have been trying to introduce apprenticeships for different levels. So we're trying to help each other out based on our own experiences. And that's just to show that we've set up different folders for each region, and we all have access to each other's folders. Now I'll pass on to Andrea.
Hi, so I've just got another couple of examples of how the networking has benefited the whole pathology workforce. So the first one is STP and HSST pathways. So quite often it can be quite daunting for labs if you've never taken on an STP training. So through our networks, we've managed to create quite a collaborative approach, and people have offered to share documents to accreditation for labs, we've been shared training plans, we've been offered to shared training across different labs and across different hospitals. So this means that a lot more labs are willing to take on STPs, even in disciplines they've previously never had an STP training in. So the next thing we're trying to focus on is apprenticeships. So part of our way of apprenticeships is just trying trying to make the career pathways clearer for everyone, promote apprenticeships as a way of development and learning. So recently, the London network was allocated £95,000 for funding. So it's been spent in different ways across London. The networks have had a couple of different ideas. So one of them was to part fund the salary of an apprentice. This was to introduce the healthcare science apprenticeship to a special reception area, so they could see the benefits of taking different people in, different career developments. Another one was part funding for a level 6 healthcare science apprenticeship. This is for someone to actually go to a whole undergraduate degree and their registration portfolio. So that's a 4-year programme to become a scientist at the end. And then the last one was to set up a series of courses for healthcare science apprenticeships across all of London. And this is to help develop any sort of additional skills, things like communication, writing, a bit of leadership. And that's open to all of sort of the London region, not just the one network that set that up. So the next one we had was HE gave us some funding to help us develop our scientists. So COVID highlighted that there was a real sort of lack of qualified scientists available and ready to work. So although we have a really workforce, quite often getting those people from maybe like a lab assistant level or trainee through to a HE registered scientist, there's sometimes a bit of block-up. Quite often that's timing to train, and sometimes it's funding to pay for like top-up modules. So Health Education England gave us funding, so the aim was to have 180 to 200 new investors in the next couple of years. So over London, we were allocated approximately 87 grants, so that's £4,000 per candidate. So these are to help people get their degrees assessed, see where they're missing elements of education, to pay for these additional supplementary modules they would need to take at university, and to pay for their portfolio so they can train to become HCPC registered scientists. And then the last lot of funding we received was from NHS E&I, and this was to help workforce development, to help training. And so this was another 100,000 that was spread across the 5 networks for the London region. So again, each network has done something slightly different. They've identified how it would benefit their network the most. So we've had backfill for training leads. This actually gives them some time off the bench to actually focus on training, rather than just trying to shoehorn training into everything else they're trying to fit into their day. Overtime payments, quite often people doing training in their spare time at weekends. This is actually to give them a bit of payment back for it, so just to show that they are valued and we're not expecting them just to take it all on themselves. And also a bit of locum or bank staff. This is to allow trainees and training leads time for the bench to do some training. And then I will pass on to Vivi.
So, how did we do this? Now, in order to equip practice educators with the expertise to perform this role, we all, at the start of the role, attended a practice educator program called PEP. And this program was run by the Academy over 6 months, last 7 full days with coaching and action learning sessions. And it provided us with the energy, drive and direction in order to attain skills like improve our communication, critical thinking skills as well. And when we attended this program, we met each other as practice educators. We interacted, we collaborated and forged trusted relationships with each other. And we took this learning platform to our networks and provided learning opportunities that educated and empowered our staff and brought about a much needed change to pathology culture, which we haven't seen in my lifetime of pathology. So this course was so beneficial to us that we as London practice educators have decided to develop a PEP-like course, which will be different because it is going to be shorter and targeted at a wider pathology audience. Okay, you may ask, what's the future for the London practice educators? Now, our main goal is to increase our workforce as well as to upskill the workforce that we already have. And to increase our workforce, we're going to continue to maintain relationships with the HEIs to support student placements in our network, adopt L2 and L4 apprenticeships to embed them in our workforce strategies, and to upskill our workforce. We will continue with the initiatives like the specialism registration portfolios that my colleagues have just mentioned, introduce new projects for learning like the PEP-like project we are working on. And we're also going to champion and advocate protected time for training, which we have deciphered is a deficit in pathology from the skill gap analysis that we have all been tasked to perform, and also harmonise job descriptions across the network. And we're not going to do this just for NHS staff, we're doing it for all pathology staff, both in the private and NHS pathology. And all in all, we just want to create a strong, supportive and productive pathology culture that will help us increase our workforce and retain our staff. Thank you very much.